I'm sure you guys are wondering what is this. This is where the leak was coming on my MARINELAND 220 filter. To find the leak, I had to take the cover off after many attempts of trying to fix the filter, thinking that the leak was coming from the main gasket. But eventually, I found where the leak was really coming from, which I'm going to explain. Sorry, I don't have any step-by-step video. I was just, busy with my hands and taking pictures and short clips as I was going. So what was happening with the filter is what many people have reported online, where they start the filter and then an hour and a half, or 2 hours later, they get water leaking from this one of the sides of the cover. So I thought it was the seal around the top cover, right, the big seal. So I applied Vaseline first on that seal, put it back together. It leaked, right? Again, within 1 hour, hour and a half, it was already leaking. And then I found online people recommending using 100% silicone. I did that. I just went to Lowe's and I got one tube of 100% silicone. And I did apply the silicone around the seal of the cover, but it did leak again. So I was about to give up, honestly. This is a filter that I bought from Craigslist, very cheap. So it wasn't the end of the world if I ended up just throwing it away. Anyway, so since I was already giving up, I said, what the heck? Let me just take the cover off, see what I can find there. If I break it, I'll break it. Doesn't matter. So I took the cover off, and I also read online someone reporting that the leak was coming from this section where you prime the filter. There are 3 screws just holding that contraption, that system. And inside you have some sort of piston with a O-ring, right? And under that you have a gasket, like a rectangle gasket. So I did apply Vaseline on that gasket at the bottom. I did apply Vaseline on the O-ring that creates, on the piston that creates the vacuum. I did that, put it back together, put the top cover on, started the filter. Again, an hour later, it was still leaking. So I took it apart again and applied silicone on that priming mechanism on both the gasket and the O-ring. And again, put it back, still leaked. So I said, that's it. This is going in the garbage. So the day after, I was in the garage putting a bunch of stuff together that was going in the garbage. And I said, let me try one more time. And this time I took everything apart. Every little piece of that top section of the filter that could have been taken apart, I did it. So what I found is that, well, first I did a test. Well, let me see if the leak is really not coming from the priming mechanism. So if you cover the outlet from underneath that section with your finger, and you try blowing air from the inlet through the inlet section, if air leaks, then you know the leak is coming from there. But if it's airtight, then there's no leak from there. So I did that. So I confirmed that the leak was not coming from the the priming mechanism. And then I proceeded, like I said, to take everything apart. Every little screw that I could find, I just cut it off and took everything apart. So what I found out is that those little connections where you connect the hoses, that they move side to side, both of those pieces, they have 2 O-rings each. Those O-rings were flat, like flat, and like worn out, super worn out. So, well, the option at that time that I had was either go to Lowe's or Home Depot, try to find some O-rings that fit in there, or just apply Vaseline and silicone. So that's what I did. I applied Vaseline and silicone. First, I applied Vaseline. I didn't want to use the silicone right away, since that would have created a mess. So I did apply Vaseline, and Vaseline didn't work. They still leaked, but at least I knew the leak was coming from there, as you can see in the video. And then I did apply 100% silicone to that section. I did apply it a lot. Put it back together and let it set for like 4 hours or so, and started the filter. No leaks. I let the filter run for overnight, and the next day, still no leak. So it's been 5 days since I fixed the leak. Filter is running in the tank. I don't have the top cover on, just so that I can see if there is a leak that develops over time. This is not a permanent solution by any means. I have to keep an eye on this. That's why, like I said, I don't have the cover on. But I mean, I'll use the filter for as long as it doesn't leak. Now, when I have to service the filter, maybe in a month or two, that's going to be a challenge, because I'll have to, make sure I don't put a lot of stress on that section, where the leak was coming from, just so I can keep that watertight. But let's see how it goes. At least the filter is working, and so far so good. So if you guys, one of you guys have one of these filters and it's leaking, like this one was doing on the side, and you're wondering what the leak is coming from, and you're about to give up, just try what I did. Take the cover off, look at every seal, O-ring, and gasket inside. Have Vaseline or 100% silicone, and just apply on the sections that you see what you think what your leak might be coming from, or just do the test. Take the cover off, run the filter, take it out. If you don't have a garage, take it outside in the yard or in your bathroom, your bathtub or something like that. Have the filter run without the cover, without the top cover, and that way you'll be able to see where the leak is coming from. If it's coming from the priming mechanism, or if it's coming from the hose connections, where those 4 O-rings are, 2 on each side. If they are worn out, then they're going to leak like mine did. And then you can use 100% silicone, or maybe take the time, go to Lowe's or Home Depot or any hardware store, local hardware store, and I'm pretty sure you can find some O-rings that can fit in there, or maybe order them online, and that will really be a permanent solution and the correct solution to this problem. But so far the filter is working, it's not leaking. I'm happy with it. I just have to keep an eye on it, and then when it's time to service the filter, I'll just have to be very careful and make sure I don't mess it up. Okay guys, good luck. Thank you.